All conspiracy theories are not right, but what if I told you the US military once drafted a plan to stage terrorist attacks against its own citizens? Bombings, fake funerals, even hijacking planes, just to trick the public into going to war. So, here are 10 conspiracy theories that might actually be true. Number 10. Bohemian Grove, the rich, the powerful, and the giant stone owl. The mysteries surrounding the Bohemian Grove in Monterey, California have been a favorite topic amongst conspiracy theorists for many years. The stories usually involve rich and powerful men meeting in the woods every year where they engage in pagan rituals and worship a giant stone owl. The owl reportedly plays voice recordings of member Walter Cronkite. Sounds pretty kooky, right? Well, it turns out that CBS, NBC, and ABC have confirmed the existence of the Grove. The Bohemian Club was formed in 1872 and quickly received attention and funding from wealthy businessmen. In 1942, the Grove hosted a meeting for the Manhattan Project that led to the creation of the atomic bomb. While it's true that most powerful men in the world come here and perform strange rituals in front of a giant owl, it's mostly just a place for powerful men to behave like drunken frat boys. Number 9. The 1990 testimony of Naira.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators. Took the incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
In October of 1990, a 15-year-old girl named Naira offered testimony to the US Congress stating that she had witnessed Iraqi soldiers taking 50 Kuwaiti babies out of incubators and leaving them on the floor to die. This testimony aired on about 700 television stations throughout the United States. President George Bush Sr. repeated the story at least 10 times in the following weeks in an attempt to sway public opinion towards supporting the Gulf War. The problem is that the events described by Naira were a complete fabrication. The CIA requested that Naira receive acting lessons before she testified. It was also discovered that Naira was the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the US, who worked with the Kuwaiti government to promote US involvement in the Gulf War. In response to these findings, Amnesty International accused the Bush administration of opportunistic manipulation of the international human rights movement. Number 8. The CIA killed JFK. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in an event that continues to spark controversy. While the official story pins Lee Harvey Oswald as the lone gunman, many suspect the CIA played a role. Kennedy had ruffled feathers within the agency, especially after threatening to curb the influence during the Cold War. Things get more suspicious in 1978 when the House Select Committee of Assassinations concluded that JFK was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy and hinted at a second shooter. They also found major issues in the original investigation. Missing evidence and altered records only deepen the mystery. Plus, we know that for a fact that the CIA was involved in plots to assassinate Fidel Castro, proving they weren't afraid of political killings. With key documents still classified, it's no surprise this theory has credibility. Number 7. The government is hiding proof of alien life. The stigma attached to UFOs has changed over the years. In 2021, the Pentagon released a report on UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, revealing that they've been tracking these mysterious objects for years. What's shocking is that many of these sightings by credible witnesses, pilots, and military personnel remain unexplained. Crafts moving at impossible speeds and performing maneuvers that defy the laws of physics. Then, in 2023, former US intelligence officer David Grush testified that the US government has been hiding the existence of alien spacecraft for decades. He claimed that not only had they recovered crashed UFOs, but they'd also found non-human biologics at crash sites, with officials admitting they don't know what these objects are and whistleblowers revealing shocking information under oath. It's hard not to wonder what's really being kept from the public. Number 6. The moon landing was staged. This theory needs no explanation. It must be one of the best known out there. So, what are the facts? For one, there are the peculiarities in the photos and videos. Shadows appear to fall in different directions, as if multiple light sources were used, something that wouldn't happen if the sun were the only source of light. Then there's the iconic American flag planted on the moon, which appears to ripple in the wind, even though there's no atmosphere for wind on the moon, adding fuel to the fire. Former NASA engineer Bill Kaysing, in the 1976 book We Never Went to the Moon, suggests that the technology at the time wasn't advanced enough to guarantee a safe landing and return. Kaysing pointed out that in the lead-up to Apollo 11, NASA had a 1 in 10 chance of success, making a fake landing seem plausible to save face on the world stage. And then in 2009, NASA admitted they had lost the original footage of the moon landing. Peculiar, right? Number 5. 5G causes health problems. When 5G started rolling out, the internet exploded with claims that it could cause serious health problems like cancer and even contribute to the speed of COVID-19. That sounds extreme, right? But here's why people are still worried. Back in 2011, the World Health Organization classified electromagnetic radiation from wireless devices as possibly carcinogenic, which made people nervous about 5G's higher frequency waves. Unlike older networks, 5G uses millimeter waves that penetrate the skin more deeply, which some argue could have unknown biological effects. In fact, over 250 scientists from 40 different countries signed a petition in 2020 urging the UN to slow down on 5G until more research is done. So while many experts claim 5G is safe, the lack of definite research leaves a gap big enough for some serious doubt. Number 4. The Titanic didn't sink. We all know the story. The RMS Titanic struck an iceberg in 1912 and sank. But what if the ship that went down wasn't the Titanic at all? Some people believe it was actually her sister ship, the RMS Olympic, all in a bid to collect insurance money. Here's the reasoning. The Olympic had been damaged in a previous accident and was nearly identical to the Titanic. Some theorists believe the ships were swapped, with the damaged Olympic being sent out under the guise of the Titanic. So they supposedly sent the Titanic on its fateful voyage, knowing it would sink to collect the insurance payout. Suspicious? Some point to irregularities. Survivors claim the ship's insurance was increased just before its maiden voyage, and many high-profile passengers canceled their tickets at the last minute, including JP Morgan, who owned White Star Line. Morgan withdrew right before the voyage. Number 3. The Black Knight Satellite. What if I told you there's a 13,000-year-old alien satellite quietly orbiting Earth, keeping an eye on us? It's known as the Black Knight Satellite, and the theory has been around for decades. It all kicked off in the 50s when UFO researcher Donald Keyhoe claimed that the US Air Force had spotted 2 mysterious objects in orbit years before we launched any human-made satellites. Then in the 60s, ham radio operators started picking up bizarre signals from space. And some believe they were coming from the Black Knight, trying to send us a message. Then in 1998, things got even stranger. During NASA's STS-88 space shuttle mission, a photo came out showing a dark, odd-shaped object orbiting Earth. NASA shrugged it off as the thermal blanket lost during the mission. But to a lot of people, it didn't look like space debris at all. For now, the STS-88 images have been absorbed into a growing body of evidence that there might be more to NASA's space debris. Number 2. The US government is hiding free energy technology. According to this theory, devices capable of generating unlimited clean energy already exist, but they're being kept under wraps to protect the profits of industries like big oil. One of the key figures tied to the theory is Nikola Tesla. In the early 1900s, Tesla was known for his groundbreaking ideas about wireless energy transmission, and some believe he invented a device that could provide free electricity to the entire world. But when he died in 1943, the FBI confiscated his papers, and what was inside them remain a mystery. There is also the case of Stanley Meyer, an inventor who in the 90s claimed he had developed a car that could run on water. Meyer's inventions, if real, would have rendered gasoline obsolete. But after showcasing his water-powered car, Meyer suddenly died, and his invention never surfaced again. We might not have definite proof yet, but the secrecy surrounding Tesla's work and Meyer's sudden death leaves enough room for suspicion. If even a fraction of these claims are true, the impact on the world's energy industries and our daily lives would be nothing short of revolutionary. Number 1. Operation Northwoods, America's plan to attack itself. In 1962, deep inside the Pentagon, high-ranking US military officials sat around a table, facing a problem that had no easy solution: how to get the American people to support a war against Cuba. Fidel Castro's communist regime was too close to comfort. Tensions between the US and the Soviet Union were escalating, and the Cold War had taken a dangerous turn. The CIA Bay of Pigs invasion had failed miserably, And now, Washington needed a new plan, something bold, something deceptive. What emerged as a top-secret proposal called Operation Northwoods, declassified years later, the documents are still shocking. The US government seriously considered committing acts of terror against its own citizens, just to blame Cuba and justify war. The plan had everything: drama, manipulation, and total disregard for human life. But it wasn't just theoretical. It was signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff and delivered to the secrecy of defense. Thankfully, it never happened. President John F. Kennedy rejected the proposal. So, are these just wild theories or buried truths hiding in plain sight? You decide. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, and remember, the truth isn't always on the front page.